Oh. Good morning, good evening, good day to you.
Hi.
And we are starting our second episode of Sunday Dinners. We're a little post-Sunday dinner right now due to the great late Martin Luther King Jr. and our day off. So we did barbacoa with my dad, my stepmom, Hector, and Chris, who is our neighbor. You'll hear a ton about them. You might see them in a couple other videos. But the consensus was... How would you say dinner went tonight?
It was pretty good. Tasted great. It wasn't exactly barbacoa as we've had it here in Texas. And I mean, in the handful of times we've had it with Mickey and her dad. So it came out great. I love the flavor of it. It tasted a little bit more like a birria. It had a hint of cinnamon and just savory. If knowing it had that birria flavor, I would have wanted to throw a couple bay leaves in there just to round out that whole birria taste. But that will be for the next time that we try it.
Which will actually be tomorrow because we liked it so much.
Yes, we liked it so much. We wanted to make it again for Taco Tuesday tomorrow. Which will be kind of our Taco Monday, thanks to this great 3-day weekend that we had.
We heard that barbacoa is cheek meat, which I've never heard of in the past. It makes sense due to the tenderness, but I think if you cook it long enough, you don't need to have already tender meat to get more tender. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also,
you tell us how you feel. The original authentic Mexican dish is typically made with beef, goat, or lamb, and it's traditionally seasoned with dry chilies and slow cooked until perfectly tender. They say nothing about a cheek. They say nothing about a head. They just talk about, from all the recipes that I looked at, were chuck roast or a tender part of the body, but not necessarily that.
Because honestly, growing up, what I knew of barbacoa to be was lamb usually, and it's slow cooked in a pit along with the consommé, the broth of the intestines and the nasty stuff that people would think, but it makes really good broth. They have garbanzo beans cooking in along with the broth. It's never been, or at least that style of barbacoa I wasn't ever too big on, but my father is a very big fan of it. Who's to say what is barbacoa? There's so many different cultures and styles of making it, especially out here in Texas. They're very strong to their cultures and their traditions of how stuff is. In the South, it's known obviously as a slow roasted, slow cooked in a smoker or in a pit meats, whereas it could be ribs, it can be both beef and pork, it can be briskets, it can be really anything, chicken, turkey. It's just a slow method, and it also infuses that smoke flavor into the meat. Go over to the West Coast. Barbecue is a lot is like saying like, oh, we're gonna throw a barbecue, and you just have a regular propane grill or a kettle grill, and you do whatever, burgers, chicken,
hot dogs,
and that even goes down to Mexican culture as well of doing some carne asada or that kind of stuff, which and that is both of those are different than also barbacoa, which is just a very slow roasted, generally tougher piece of meat that you can make something really good with. So the word barbacoa itself can be a big map of what am I eating really, or what's it gonna be.
Yeah, and then
you can verbalize barbacoa or barbecue.
Or you can verbalize barbecue. Could you verbalize barbacoa?
Yeah, because it still brings
I
together.
want to hear a sentence.
Like, yo, we're barbacoaing this weekend. You know what I'm saying? But because of what it does for your group, your family, the weekend. It stood for, family getting together, someone bring the big red, You know?
Literally, if you've never been to Texas, there HEB or the Heb, or that also might be blasphemous by the fact that we call it the Heb, but we do it. So there you go.
It's funny if you can't take a joke.
And the Heb actually has barbacoa kits where it has a Big Red, which is a soda that's based out of this area. It has the tortillas and it has the barbacoa. And so it's definitely a tradition for a weekend thing, that because I haven't seen it on the weekdays. I haven't seen those kids on apparently also another tradition that we've never been aware of, and the fact that we've done barbacoa Sundays with my stepmom and dad at least 4 times in the last 2 months. They said that having pan dulce is also a tradition. So that's why I was thinking, why haven't we ever had it before?
It could have been just Mickey was craving some pan dulce at that moment and was like, hey, this is a tradition. Or, you know, it could actually be a Texas thing. So let us know, please. Yeah, if you guys know otherwise. Or if you go, oh yeah, that's right on the money. Pan dulce, barbacoa.
And Big Red.
And Big Red. I mean, Big Red's a
here.
Texas thing, period. You can have a Big Red with anything out here, and it'll be.
It was his first full week at his new company.
First full week at Lennar. I'd say it went pretty great. As for the culture that they have in their corporation, it's really fun. Just to know how warming and welcoming they were to the new trainees. I'm sure it's not just specifically a Texas thing, because we have received tremendous hospitality and just welcoming hands from everyone that we've met out here for the most part. And I'm sure it's not just a Texas thing, like I was saying, but it is a Lennar Corporation thing that their onboarding process is just so painless. It was a pleasure to meet the people at the office that I won't necessarily be seeing often, especially now in the pandemic. But it's just so great to see these people that are happy to see new faces coming in, and they have certain expectations that we must uphold also. But they see the power of people, and they see how people can grow within a company.
They set you up for success, and that is really cool for me to see, because that's something that you've always wanted to achieve. That's always something that you've always kind of thrived for. We've come from several different companies that, yes, you had your dad's company, so it's a very mom and pop shop feel, because it is your mom and your pop that built it from the ground up, but you also felt that guilt, you felt that hardship, you felt that need to succeed, just because that was putting food on the table for your entire family.
Absolutely.
Which again, like now you're bringing home the bacon and like you're making things happen for your family, but it is a little bit less personal. Yeah. And I feel like that's when you can kind of have that work-life balance of I can leave it at the door whenever I get home.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I've always wanted. Obviously, being the owner of your own business, it's a great thing, and it's a great thing for your future and for your generations to come. But at the same time, it comes with a great deal of stress. And that's one thing that I used to struggle with. And who's to say that we don't go big with our own, business. But that's also down the line, and knowing what we know now. That
goes hand in hand with your feelings about Sacramento, because that also goes with your old personality.
Working in the entire Sacramento region, I just associate Sacramento with, like, oh man, I'm going to be stuck in this city forever, especially working a job that is very routine and very much the same thing every week. So, I would find myself in the same area of town every single week, dealing with the same issues, which is something that happens all the time. But yeah, like I would find myself in Sacramento very often.
You would rather
wanting to do
off because it was cake for you at that
point. Exactly. My job was too easy, and I didn't have authority to make the company a much bigger thing. I definitely found my limits of where I was going to end up, working with my father at that point. Do my own thing and not have to depend on my father's company and that same paycheck every week, and just Because I was scared of just stirring the pot, you know? I felt if I stirred the pot, I was going to throw my life into a complete whirlwind of, what am I doing now? Why am I not helping my dad at this point? You know, but I had to start thinking about myself. I had to start thinking about my future with Vanessa as well. And I definitely never thought I'd be where I am now with a great job, you know, at Lennar. I thought I would end up, you know, doing labor for the rest of my life.
It's literally backbreaking.
It's backbreaking physically and mentally, just to think of, like, what am I going to do to get myself out of this position?
Buyer's demand of, like, okay, well, you need a job. You'll take anything because you can't get another job. So do this and get stuck here. And I feel like a lot of people, I think because of in the last 5 years, people are learning that they don't have to just get stuck. And I feel like that is also the same thing with you, is that, like, you felt like you were stuck in your routines, which, I mean, not gonna lie, we have our routines. We still have routines now, even though you're not working for your dad's company.
It's just a routine that I'm more willing to you know, subject myself to.
I think that's something that we should always kind of remind ourselves, because, like, if you have that mentality of, like, I don't want to get stuck in a routine, or, like, get stuck with this boring job, or get stuck with this. There's so much more that goes into your disdain for where you were at the time. But I mean, if you step back now, you look at it, and I feel like you're like, oh, I could have made a change like a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
I could have done this, but I just didn't. And, like, that's also, like, a part of growing, right? Like, that's the part of being an adult, and realizing what powers you do have and what powers you don't have. I've seen a lot for you is that, like, you might have this perfect ideal job in your head, and then you don't quite get that one, but then you get this one, which is so much better than you would have ever imagined. First week went great.
Yeah, first week went great. Very cool environment at the office.
And then we've had mouse. We met a mouse today.
Oh, Lord.
That's been living in our house.
We've had an issue since we moved in.
There's a mouse in the house.
There's a mouse in the house, and I mean, we can't really, you know, be surprised. There's a huge field, you know, all around us, you know, so little mice are going to be a thing. But I finally saw it today when we were, you know, early in the garage. It's a teeny little thing. I was terrified of it. I wanted to suck it up with a vacuum, and after that, I didn't know what my plan was either. You know, so we finally saw the mouse today.
We didn't catch it.
Didn't catch it. I think he ran off. Who knows? I was terrified of the fucking thing.
It was hilarious.
Whatever.
It makes sense that we have mice because we live right next to a field, which we actually were able to
ride our bikes
around today. I wiped out, unsurprising because I'm me. I follow a lot.
Just at least once.
I've had a lot of changes on my end, and also for our channel, because as he's going away on a day-to-day basis, I have to get my fitness back into shape because we're getting married, and I need to have my wedding dress feeling all right and tight and cute, which also brings me to the fact of my dad almost showed him the photo of my dress. I was very upset. I felt kind of bad about how upset I was, but I feel like it makes sense still. We're working on an actual consistent brand and a consistent vision for the channel, our website, and our business, which we haven't talked about in the past, but it's American Brands. We specialize in marketing and custom shirts and custom apparel. This channel goes, the more you guys will get to know us, and then we'll show you some of our projects, and then you guys can see the magic that we have at hand, but it's very infantile at this point.
Yes, we're at the starting stages of all this as well. So also, like we probably mentioned last week on the video, let us know what you guys like. Let us know what you guys want to hear, what you want our take on. Because, I mean, I know we spout off a lot of, you know, random nonsense. But also, some people might be interested in that. Are you that people? Let us know, please.
And something else that I started doing, call it Misread Reviews, because that was actually a throwback. If you guys have known me long enough, I had a blog that was actually fairly popular in Sacramento at the time, but in 2012, 2013-ish, I started out with Industrial Door Company, and my job was to go into different businesses day to day. So I would go to about like 100 different facilities minimum a week, and so I would give my actual feedback on those facilities. And so that's why I thought it was funny. And then the fact that my hair is red again, so it's misread or misread with READ.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's funny. We finished Queen's Gambit.
Oh, yes.
Which is really good. We've heard a lot of good reviews. Loved it.
Yeah, Queen's Gambit was it was a little hard to just get onto it just because of so much dialogue in the beginning, which probably wasn't even that much. I was just
it's all the long game.
Yeah, sure.
It's a chess reference.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It was a little bit hard for me at least to get started on it, but yeah, once I got into it, it was pretty easy to binge. We also recently finished Orange is the New Black, which I had never watched and gone through completely.
That's my soundboard, my imaginary
soundboard. It was a great show. I think it was a very satisfying ending for how many different storylines were going through the show. So they all ended pretty well, I believe. Any specific thing that poked out at you with the ending?
I've talked about it a couple times this week, is that I felt like everything ended with a lot of closure. We're also very late in the Orange is the New Black game because that ended in like 2017 or something. But the favorite part was the credits and when...
Oh, at the end, yes, and they had the wrap up of all the actresses.
And I feel like a lot of long-term shows do that. So actually, I can only name 2 on the top of my head that have done a cool wrap up like that.
In the credits?
In the credits. And that is Friends and Seinfeld.
Did they do a cool wrap up like that in the credits?
Yeah, it was very
the one with the Green Day song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They do I think it's like every couple hundred episodes or so, they do like a clip show, which they do show a lot of fun stuff like that. Just like if you guys have ever noticed in Seinfeld, Jerry is almost the entire series trying to not crack up like during the silly, stuff that they have going on in the show. If you see him with a big grin on him, it's because he's about to start cracking up.
I've recently been doing in this last week is on Friday was my company's 25th anniversary and Air System Servicing Construction. It is our 25th anniversary, and now my new job is to do all their marketing and their social media marketing, and I create fun campaigns that match our personality, because our whole thing is, yes, anybody could have an HVAC company, anybody could have a plumbing service in the commercial industry, but what makes us different? It's our personality. It is the people that help you on a day-to-day, and also our history. So I'm taking on that responsibility of every Wednesday, I'm going to bring in a couple of facts and a couple of trends and not so great trends that make you laugh and giggle. And so 2 of those shows that we just mentioned were actually very popular 25 years ago. Because we always talk about what we're going to have on Sundays with our neighbors. So this is something that we usually talk at least 3 days in advance, if not a week in advance. And our plan is to do a spaghetti filled meatball. Woo! Yeah.
So it's
That's
just
crazy.
like
It's
just like what it sounds.
It's exactly what it sounds.
It's a big ball of meat with spaghetti stuffed inside. We're interested to see how it comes out. Hopefully good. I'm sure it'll be fine. The making of. Hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully it'll inspire you guys to do something different in the kitchen too.
Or in bed.
Yeah. Sure.
You got to put some spaghetti in that meatball, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Go. Next week.
Yeah, that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys later. Hopefully you guys like the content. Hit the subscribe button. Don't be a hater. If you are a hater in the comments, I'll probably go and say something back to you. So don't do it.
Or do it. Yeah. But like and subscribe. We're going to iron out all of our details eventually.
I'll try to not make threats on the conclusion of the videos.
Maybe.
If you have it coming, I can't promise anything. At that point, only God can help you.
I'll find you. And I will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
What is Liam Neeson?
Is it Liam Neeson? I've never
Taken.
seen any of the Taken.
Okay, on that note, we gotta go.
Alright, guys.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Good morning.
Afternoon.
Good morning. Good evening.
Morning.
Shows.
We'll have to rate that. Throw in the comments your rating on that burp. Please. I just get that.